Adult children are still at home. You are in a growing section of the population. Wisanow's Geraldine Mayo and Raewyn Hamilton are here to give us the lowdown on this phenomenon. Ladies, welcome to the show. What prompted your interest in this?
Initially, it was every time we put an article on the site about this subject, we got tremendous hits and great response from our readers. So we got a bit more interested in it, did a bit more research, and ended up doing a survey, which was quite revealing.
What did it reveal?
Well, 72% of the respondents found that their lifestyles were inhibited quite dramatically, and their economic situation was inhibited by the children staying at home. It was eating into their retirement savings.
So weren't these adult children paying board at least and things like that?
52% pay less than $100 a month.
A month?
A month.
Why is this different to what it was like 20, 30 years ago?
Well, what the difference is that we didn't have cell phones, so a lot of these parents are paying for their children's cell phones.
Oh, things like that.
We didn't have cars, so they've got to run a car, and very often, with the cost of living, they do have jobs. I think it was something like 60-odd% of children came home. They actually had jobs, but they couldn't afford to live independently.
But their earning capacity starts a lot later than our generation did too. So we left school, we had full employment, so we went and got a job. We didn't have to go to uni. We didn't need further education. We got married younger, and we had bought homes.
Because they were affordable then, which they're not now.
My children were at uni, and at the same age, I was married with a child. So,
and there was no such thing as a gap year for us. We didn't extend the teenage years, and the teenage years are getting extended.
I see what you mean.
Yes.
You meet a lot of people, 24, 25, still at university or just even starting university.
Yes.
And now, of course, university, the other difference is that university is not free. Well, when I say free, I mean the government used to pay for it.
Sure.
But it was free for people who went. And now it's very expensive. How is this affecting the parents' lifestyles from your survey?
Well, they're finding, and especially in New Zealand, they're finding it very difficult to save for their retirements. And they're actually deciding that they will probably work in portfolio careers right through to their 70s.
What's a portfolio career?
Well, so they may be working 2-3 days a week, changing what they actually do, but they can't afford to live on a pension. It's impossible to live on a pension.
But not only that, I think we want to stay more engaged with society anyway as we get older.
So it's not just because our kids are at home and bleeding us dry, it's also because...
there's that too.
What kind of age group are you talking about in terms of children? Are they just not leaving, or are they coming back when they're older?
They're doing both. Essentially, the survey covered 18 to 30 plus.
OK, so...
And you do know about the Italian parents who took their 30 plus son to court to get him out of home.
And did they succeed?
I believe they did.
That's incredible. Well, I have to be honest that when I came back from New York, I lived with my father for a year when I was 35. I think he was very happy when I got a flat. But, I mean, you know, it was a bit of a transition. But it's... Because what about that whole... You know, what about the expectations of these children?
Well,
like, do they expect to have dinner cooked? Do they expect to have their clothes washed?
They turn into... Well, they suddenly have their hands painted on, yes. And parents are actually, in the survey, they're very happy to be financially involved in and emotionally. It's just they would never turn them away. They just don't quite want that amount of involvement.
That's right. And is it hard for parents to say no?
Yes.
Well, I find it very... I mean, I've had 2 of my children come home for, you know, between buying a house and leaving a flat and things like that. And my problem is that I want to do all this for a week, but then after a month I don't. And so maybe the problem's not with them, it's with me.
Very interesting stuff. Well, we're going to pick this up again a little bit later in the show at 11:30. Thank you so much for coming on today, coming down to Wellington for us.